aircraft that didn't just go on to be powered by an engine of British design, but which also stemmed from a British requirement for new fighter aeroplanes. Established in New York during the early part of World War II, was on the lookout for fighter designs that potentially equipped the RAF at the time. The British manufacturers were hard pressed. The Curtiss P51 family seemed like a good option, but on visiting North American Aviation, which was already producing Harvard trainers for the RAF, North American, which had never built a production fighter before, thought it could come up with something superior. Designed for the NA-73 was the result. Top of the pile, this aircraft, P51 being Mustang. Very important aspects, one being an amazing fighter aircraft, but coupling that with range. Quite a rare thing to do, to go a long way. The two engines, heavier aircraft, bigger fuel tanks, which generally didn't make the aircraft as maneuverable or as effective as the fighter. Spitfire rightly recognised as one of the finest dogfighters of all time, that had very short legs, originally designed as a point interceptor. It wasn't particularly suited to escorting bombers into Europe, Germany. It was, of course, this aircraft. The early P51 marks were powered by the Allison D1710 engine. Those aircraft have tended to be rather unfairly dismissed over the years because they didn't have the sort of high-altitude fighter capability and the long-range fighter capability that the later Merlin engines examples had. In fact, the Allison engine Mustangs were outstanding combat aircraft in their own right. They were exceedingly good at low levels, they were very good ground mounts, very good fighter reconnaissance mounts. The RAF was using them in that role, in the tactical reconnaissance role, until pretty late in the war. But it was the marriage of the Merlin and the Mustang that really made this aircraft. a marriage that occurred in no small part because of the friendship between Ian Campbell-Ord, the RAF officer commanding the air fighting development unit at Cosford, and a Rolls-Royce test pilot called Ronnie Harker, whose job was to act as liaison between Rolls-Royce and the company's engine customers. The idea was newly cooked up, a Mustang fitted with a Rolls-Royce Merlin and test flown once again at Duxford. Performance was transformed, though as it turns out, it's by no means certain at that point that the Mustang would necessarily get the marks of Merlin that it later got, which gave it such outstanding range capability. So clearly at that point, still quite a different outcome for this aircraft, but the later series Packard Merlins that powered aircraft such as this P51 do really were the outstanding power plant for the Mustang airframe. We've had this aircraft at Cosford several times over the years. When it was Old Crow, the name it carried was the Scandinavian Historic Flight, founded by the late Anders Saker. It was then known as the Shark in RAF number 112 Squadron markings, with that distinctive shark mouth, and it appeared in that guise here on a couple of occasions when Sean Patrick was the owner. But now we can see it's in a classic US Army Air Forces fighter group scheme in the latter part of World War II. It's quite a plain colour scheme when you see the markings of US Army Air Forces P51s with bright nose art and lots of mission symbols on the canopy rail. None of those on the authentic scheme applied to this one in 2020. These are the markings of a 4th Fighter Group Mustang flown by Colonel Don Blakesley, commander of that group, a man who flew more combat missions than any other American fighter pilot, who was credited with 15 and a half confirmed victories. He never had his trim markings or any form of nose art applied to his Mustang. You can see on the fuselage side it had the code letters WDC, and he used to joke that the C stood for cheap cook and bottle washer. Under his leadership, the 4th Fighter Group destroyed more enemy aircraft than any other in the entire US 8th Air Force. So it's quite right that he's saluted by the P51D Mustang, operated by the Rolls-Royce Heritage Flight, which was flown for us today by a former Army Air Corps helicopter pilot, Alistair Williams.